It's a new year, and we are back with another edition of Smart Driving Cars. Thank you for spending time with us again. I'm Fred Fishkin, along with the Faculty Chair of Autonomous Vehicle Engineering at Princeton University, Alain Kornhauser. Hi, Alan.
Hey, good morning, Fred.
Good morning. It is a busy week ahead. You have CES in Las Vegas, a quick trip there.
Yep.
And then on the evening of the 9th, the 52nd Annual Princeton Banquet in Washington, D.C., in conjunction with the TRB, the Transportation Research Board meeting. Busy week.
Yeah.
How are you going to do that?
52nd. I mean, my goodness. And I've been to every one. I mean, isn't that, what do you do 52 times, every year? I mean, that is whatever.
Is it
And
always
we have
always at the same restaurant too? Or?
Oh no, I mean they've gone out of business. Buildings have been torn down. Total redevelopment. Are you kidding? I mean, that's several lifetimes, 52 years, isn't it? Right. And then the Stillers play this afternoon.
All right. All right, he's set for that.
I need to put on my Pops jersey. Anyway, yes.
Well, getting into this week's Smart Driving Cars newsletter, Aurora and Continental have finalized the design for the technology they'll use in self-driving trucks. Aurora has said it intends to deploy a small number by the end of this year. Plans to have thousands on the road, they're saying, in 2027.
Well, I guess my response is this is great. At least, this is a path to a proof of market, because one doesn't want to just do a couple. One wants to be able to do thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. One wants to make a difference, especially given the amount of investment that's gone into this. I mean, one would hope after all these years and all this investment that there's a market response that has this technology really deliver value to customers, and it improve things. And so, part of that has to be the whole process of being able to make that happen, of which, one needs a supplier in the middle to be able to produce these things and to have them be introduced into the technology, because they're a piece on top of pieces. This is a piece of something that fits on top of a whole big infrastructure. What's that infrastructure? It's, at least for Aurora, it's over the road trucking. And it's on top of that. It's not replacing trucking. It's supposed to improve trucking. And I think that's kind of the key to this thing, is that I think they need to get to now what the value proposition really is for all of this. And it's not the gizmos, it's not the technology, it's not the selfie, it's not the Sunday supplement. It's the value. And the only folks that are going to buy this are folks that are going to get real value out of this. And what is that? It's to be more efficient and more affordable.
And it goes without saying, as you've always said, that it has to be safe. Thus,
well, of course it has to be safe, but the safety's not the problem. Every unsafe trucking company is out of business already. They're not there. And we have an enormous motor carrier industry in the country. The whole logistics system of the country is built on motor carriers. It's not railroads. Railroads do a piece of it, but the big piece is done by trucking. And guess what? That trucking industry is safe. Because if it wasn't safe, it wouldn't be here. It'd be out of business. It is safe. Safety is not the problem. Safety is not the objective. Sure, you want to be safe, but to be more safe, sure, of course. But if you really want to move things, change things, make a difference, move it from what it currently is, safety's tectonic.
Well, the
Watch
assumption
grass grow.
the assumption is though that that's why we're waiting till 2027, because it just has to be there and has to work.
Well,
Obviously.
no, not just no. I don't think it has to be there. The whole mechanism of putting it into and getting rolled out so that it's more than just something you can't see. There has to be a whole entourage around it to make it happen. But what is that making happen? It has to be just, no CEO is going to go in and put in an order through Continental to put this on the trucks, new trucks that he or she buys, unless what? Unless they're better than what they currently buy. And what they currently buy is safety's not the issue. Or at least, but the big thing of this is that it can improve the service and it can make it more affordable. Those are the big things. And so if you're sitting there in your boardroom looking at your balance sheet from last year, trying to figure out what you're going to do for your balance sheet of next year, and if something can be made so that it improves the quality of the service that one is going to give and improve affordability, you might have a chance to having that person say, I'll sign and buy. Otherwise you're chasing a venture capitalist who's probably in it to flip you, because they're only in there for the short point time. They're not looking to make money over time. They're looking for a quick hit. Are there any of them left? I don't think so. They flew the coop. So guess what? Now the thing that you build, you're actually going to have to sell it to somebody who's going to have a value proposition and say, like, yeah, this is going to improve me. It's going to add to my competitiveness. It's going to add to the economy. It's going to allow me to stay alive. It's going to allow me to do whatever. It's not going to allow me to take a selfie and put it up there and look, hey, mom, no hands. Are you joking? I thought we got over that in 1997 with the I-5, automated highway bull. Those days are gone. This is not 2024. This is a new thing. And I think that what Aurora is doing here is great. And when they go out there and put the trucks out there, the few that they put out there, then what they need to do is make sure they're doing the mobility that they're offering for goods is in fact more efficient and more affordable. And forget about the headlines in the Sunday supplement and the investors are gone. Who knows what they're going after now? They're hoping interest rates come back down. If the interest rates don't come back down, they're not going to be around.
Well, talk about investors. Tough week for Mobileye and their investors, I suppose. Excess inventory, the problem. They hinted at a longer road ahead for autonomous vehicles. These are all from the preliminary results for the last quarter. Surprised some Surprise some folks, I suppose.
Well, it surprised me. I guess I haven't been paying attention. I thought, I thought they were out there selling their IQ thing to car companies for them to include in intelligent cruise control and lane keeping, and they had a big book of business, and it seemed to me the car companies were putting those things out there and they were being purchased. You know, they don't have a driverless car business. They don't, of any whatever. And then you look at the guidance that they're providing out there for 2024 to lose, I don't know, 400 million. Well, I guess it's not that much.
A lot to me.
But my goodness, these guys are these folks have to start focusing on making some money.
Right.
Because so the Mobileye went and got itself bought by Intel and gonna and then Intel spun them and they went and out in the public marketplace and so on. The public marketplace. I mean, all one needs to do is look at the stock price of Aurora or any of these companies. They are like, it's ugly. And why? Because who knows what the heck they've been chasing. They've been chasing investors, which up to this point have flipped and flipped and flipped and flipped and flipped, as opposed to delivering value to the marketplace. Value that is more than what the conventional is out there now. This is what a disruptive thing is supposed to take it, not just be nudging up and be, I can do what Uber does. I can do what Lyft does. Uber and Lyft came in there and disrupted the taxi industry. And what did they get? They ended up getting the taxi industry great. They get more, a little bit more. Can they get more? Of course, I keep saying I don't believe it. Bring me lunch? Really? Instead of me carrying my little lunch pail? Really? That's the value proposition of Uber Lyft? Bring me lunch? I don't know. I guess.
Moving along, Alan. In the newsletter, you have something interesting here, a little unusual perhaps, from Forbes. The French grocery giant Carrefour, if that's how it's pronounced,
Carrefour.
has stopped selling Pepsi products due to what they said were unacceptable price increases.
I saw that. I think I woke up yesterday and saw that in the New York Times or someplace, and I just thought, my goodness, this is the best news article I've seen in how long? And my goodness, we don't have Carrefours in Princeton. I guess I'm maybe not even the United States. I don't know, but I just hope Kroger's and Chop Wrong and all the others and Giant and so on US do the same thing. They're the intermediary to the customer. And it's brutal what these folks have done to the consumer over the past year. $2 chuck is now $3.50 at Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's, how can you do this to us? Please roll it back. Can't be. Where else find somebody who can make, can press wine or whatever so that we're back to, maybe we aren't back to $2 chuck. But at least take us back to $3 chuck. And then all of a sudden, you had a package this big of something for that much. Now the package is this big for the same amount. And what, are we all stupid here? And I mean, Jesus, I don't think I'm ever going to drink a Pepsi again. I certainly hope I don't have a Doritos. Those things weren't good for me in the first place. And now you're going to predatory price me and increase the price of it, so on. Hey, I might enjoy the Super Bowl ad. No, I'm not. I'm not going to enjoy it just for spite.
Speaking of the Super Bowl ads, Alan, I just read that Ford and GM are not going to be advertising in the
They
Super
can't
Bowl.
afford it.
Yeah.
How could they? How could they? I mean, look at poor Ford. I mean, talking about getting your butt kicked. How's the Lightning doing? How's the whatever Mustang doing? GM, how's the Hummer doing? How dare you put the Hummer back out there? What do you think? We're all stupid? I don't know. I bet the Carrefour thing, I just thought, oh my goodness, this is great. And they said that the whole line of Pepsi said, hey, and of course, Pepsi's not even number one. Okay, so it was easy for him, hey, buy Coke. I was saying, and plus all this stuff. Get a clue, Pepsi.
From
Sorry,
right
I
on,
don't know.
Alan. What's going to surprise a lot of people is that $2 Chuck. I mean, people might have thought that Alan's got
Yeah.
a subscription to Wine Spectator.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, I can't tell the difference. I mean, I never claimed that I could. Whatever. No, and I think Trader Joe's. We shop at Trader Joe's, does a fine job. But I mean, I couldn't believe last time I was in there. What used to be $2 Chuck was $3 Chuck. Now it's $3.50 Chuck. I don't know.
From the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, this headline that got your attention. In the year of AI, autonomous vehicles had a tough showing. And you got into this a little bit.
Yeah, I just got into a piece of it. I thought it was a pretty good article, and it's an article coming out of Pittsburgh in which it's been sort of the centerpiece of trying to make this stuff happen now for more than a few years, for which it's struggling, and yeah, it's tough, but the part of the problem of the industry is that they're not focusing. It's not focusing on the value proposition that it has. And the value proposition of all this for the Mobileye type technology that goes into the vehicles that we're going to buy is to make them more comfortable to drive and to help bail us out when we misbehave. And my view was that it was doing a reasonably good job at that. And so on. In the driverless car business, it's to give people rides. And what kind of rides? High quality rides that are more affordable. Because to me, that's where the market is, pure and simple. Okay. And I've put out in the newsletter, hey, and this is the 12th year of the e-letter. 12th year. Fred, what the hell are we doing? 352nd.
This is 352 podcasts. Yes,
352 podcasts. And I was, in the beginning of this edition, I'm putting sort of an editorial out there in terms of my perspective on things. And as I said in that, or trying to say in that, is that personally, I personally had a great year last year. Great sabbatical, great trips, great interaction with colleagues, in some sense around the world. Couldn't have been better. Had 3 trips to Boca Chica. Absolutely marvelous. Had an opportunity to take 9 of Elizabeth and I took 9 of my students down there for Starship 2. I think changed their lives as much as me attending the launch of Apollo 11 changed my life. And totally marvelous, best class I've ever had, at least maybe my recollection of past great ones, which I have had past great ones. Cool.
That's
lacking, but
lots of reason for optimism then.
Enormous reason for optimism coming into this, and the fact, and also the fact that 2 companies went to 2 different operational design domains and actually provided rides driverlessly without smoke and mirrors, as best as I could tell. They put a little bit more work into it and had a little bit more oversight than you would have, and years from now, after the darn thing is rolling and you're serving, 100 million rides a day. Of course, it's going to get better. But that's an enormous accomplishment, and to do it with, when you look at, do it safely, to do it with essentially no crashes of any significance, and to actually be out there and deliver it. It is an enormous accomplishment. Okay.
Of course, disrupted by what happened in October with Cruise.
No, but okay. So, what happened in October is that we learned something that we didn't know. And guess what? Usually to learn something, you have to pay tuition. Learning things for nothing usually isn't much of a lesson. There's always a tuition payment. And so, yeah, there was a tuition payment. Truly unfortunate. But that tuition payment, when one looks back on it to learn what we learned, and the fact is that the whole darn thing was caused by the fundamental problem, which is human misbehavior. Did they ever arrest that guy or gal who did that? Did they ever find him?
Not that I know of.
Not that we've heard. And maybe we're out of it and don't know what the heck, whatever. And I sure hope the woman is back to, close to 100%. But one doesn't learn things for free, I think, ever. You don't learn the fire's hot until you burn your hand. Even though your parents tell you, stay away from the fire, stay away from the fire, stay away from the fire. It's human nature. I don't know. It'd be nice if we didn't have to pay tuition. For years, I've argued that Princeton should be free. We won't go on to that one, but it should be. Actually, we can't afford it. Not only can we afford it, it makes us richer, but that's another theory.
Back on Cruise, there was one report from Reuters that said,
before we do that,
okay.
but before we do that, I guess what irked me about the article was Koopman's quote in there. Koopman says in there that people are pulling drivers for, to show off to investors. I don't know that anybody is doing that anymore, and if anybody really ever did. And anybody who came close to doing that, had so many smoke and mirrors and so on and so forth, they really didn't pull it. They were lying, cheating, and stealing that they were pulling. And those folks are gone. I don't
Right.
think
I mean,
anybody
we've
out
talked about
there
Waymo and Cruise and their diligence and how they've gone about all of this
absolutely,
methodically.
totally diligent, totally understanding that the driver in there is the reason to pull the driver is to make this, even though they don't say it and realize it, is not to improve safety, is to get to affordability. Who, if I can afford a chauffeur, of course I'm going to have a chauffeur. Why wouldn't I? That negative piece of it, affordability, doesn't exist with me if I'm that kind of person. Phew. Of course. But for many of us, that's not how we live. And darn it, of course, in testing, you should never pull a driver. Never. You're testing. You're not out there delivering a service that somebody is going to acquire to improve their lives. Because when folks tend to acquire things to improve their lives, they acquire better things that are cheaper. They may actually be more expensive than the things they currently buy, but they're so much better that the expense is worth it. This is the state of any economy. Now, if you don't believe that of the economy, then I don't know. Then you must be an academic. I mean, holy hell. I mean, you cut it out. Nobody's doing that. No, and if you pull the driver, then you're in business. You're in business to then capture the affordability, to deliver to the customer that affordability and that level of service so that the customer says, yeah, I'm going to get this from you. And I'm going to pay tuition to you. I'm going to give you money for this. It's, this isn't advanced economics. Even engineers can understand this. I'm just shocked that I just don't want to see it written again. Or somebody's go and document to me. Maybe I'm the goofy one.
Alan, back on cruises, as we said, Reuters reported that the GM robotaxi unit has offered $75,000 to resolve the investigation by regulators in California into its failure to disclose details of that pedestrian crash last October.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means. Okay, I guess if they were very, very misbehaving, if they made any attempt explicitly to not be totally transparent about what happened there. And if they did, then my goodness, paying how much did you say?
This said $75,000.
$75,000 in tuition. Guess what? The tuition at Princeton is more than that. I guess I know that because Helen's there, but whatever. So okay, don't do that, folks. Just don't do that. Just don't do it. And if you got off by just paying $75,000,
the price in reality has certainly been many times higher than the 75,000
you
to
can't
GM
even
and Cruise.
75,000 times 75,000
Right.
or something like that. Here you have something for which you've invested how many billions gets devalued instantly by, I don't know. I'm sure, some people will go, sharpen their pencil, but it's got to be at least 50%. You know, it makes Mobileye's stock drop of 25% yesterday to be like nothing. You know, they could be on a business. They could be for sale right now. They could be for sale for which there's no buyer out there willing to buy them. For what? Really, what is really, when one sits back and looks at it, minuscule lack of visibility and transparency done by, it can't be anybody any very high up in that organization then or now. It can't be. And who's the biggest loser in this? San Francisco. Now, the whole opportunity of having two folks out there trying to provide high quality rides, which really, if they did it, they could see they could do it affordably. And if they decided not to be Pepsi, to actually deliver that value as opposed to trying to hoard it all, to the folks of San Francisco, to improve the quality of life in San Francisco. San Francisco's a loser here.
Well, maybe it's broader than that. It's all of us who are looking forward to more progress in providing affordable mobility.
Right. But I think we're going to get the progress eventually. Maybe it'll be delayed a little bit. These both Waymo and GM were making us wait. Didn't see either of them running out, hey, I'm coming to Jersey, even though we begged them, or I'm really coming to Buffalo, or I'm coming to Scranton, or I'm coming to Greenville, South Carolina, or I'm coming to Jacksonville, or I'm coming to a host of other places in the country that could really benefit from this. And all these places, guess what? As more and more of them benefit, guess what? Scale goes up. And one of the things that we know about this scale economy is that scale goes up, the cost of doing this stuff goes down. Any business that you're in which you have that kind of dynamic, and who knows why the venture community doesn't see it. I mean, the venture community, oh, I want to do a flip, I guess. I don't know. But if you're in the lemonade stand business, if you're in the McDonald's business, if you're in the Starbucks business, you want to sell a lot of lattes. Because every additional latte you sell, it's cheaper for you to sell.
Well, that latte still costs more than a bottle of $2 Chuck, but
yeah. And so, darn, let's get back. Hey, if you bring that back to $3, I went into the local Trader Joe's, and there used to be cases upon cases of this stuff. I wonder what the sales volume has been impact of to maybe I'm wrong, but I bet when they took it to $3.50, and if Costco takes those rotisserie chickens past $5, I'm not going anymore. Now, oh, they're going to say, oh my goodness, Alan's not going to go there. We're going
let's talk about volume. Alan, Tesla has delivered over 484,000 vehicles last quarter, sold met their goal of 1.8 million for the year, 37.7% increase over the previous year. But the news, I guess, this week centered on them making revisions to their range estimates for vehicles that really more in line with the real world. That means the long-range Model Y estimate is now 310 miles instead of 330, and there's still a lot
Oh
of
my
discussion
goodness.
about the autopilot update designed to ensure drivers have their hands on the wheel and eyes on the road. That was part of the NHTSA so-called recall, which was really an over-the-air update. So
Yeah, and the stock price has been going down, and yeah, yeah, and so I I guess I'm such a fanboy that I look at all these things as positives for Tesla. I mean,
well, some things were
to
they should have been
actually
doing that all
do
along, tried to be
to actually
reflecting the real world, right?
well, what do you want? You don't want reflections of the real world. You prefer to have some, whatever rosy picture provided by some venture capitalist who's whatever. I don't know. I mean, to go and deliver 1.8 million, build 1.8 and deliver 1.8. I mean, starting from zero in what 10 years ago or whatever. I mean, is anybody joking out here? And maybe it's not a 50% CAGR for, I mean, that's 50% CAGRs forever. I mean, what is this, high school? Grade school? Certainly not Ivy League.
And a lot of the headlines were also captured by their rival in China, BYD, which delivered obviously big numbers. They're not outselling Tesla when it comes to pure EVs, but overall vehicle sales,
What
I
the
guess.
heck? They're selling a $10,500 vehicle. I don't know if we can even call it a vehicle. If somebody brought that over here, it would be a joke. And so that's fine. That's fine. I guess it's just it's. But you look at Kia. Kia's having problems with people stealing their cars, and guess what the cars have to do? When there's a recall on those cars to fix them so that they're not so easy to steal, guess what they have to do? They have to take them back to the dealer. Tesla did a recall of 2 million vehicles essentially instantaneously. Just think what that would have cost General Motors or Kia to do to bring. I mean, the dealers would have been. I mean, dealer values would have gone through the roof because GM or Kia would have had to pay for that and all that new revenue for the dealers. Dealers love recalls and maintenance. I mean, it is a
Well,
brave new
hence, there's
world.
been a lot of reluctance among many dealers, it seems, to push the EVs. That's
Yeah,
anecdotal
because
things that I've
because
read
if
anyway.
in fact, I mean, they need to become tire dealers because certainly the EVs are going to sell more tires, so they have to see how they can become tire dealers. Okay, because they're so darn heavy and they burn out the tires. But the rest of it, so folks are going to have to adjust. And maybe it's going to end up being that there are just, a few service centers out there that can do this. Of course, we had a wreck of a cyber truck. Apparently, it's because a 17-year-old, drove to the right and then drove to the left, crossed the double line. At least that's what the police report says.
Right.
The 17-year-old wasn't driving the Cybertruck, of course, driving, I don't know, Toyota or something. now people are saying, well, what's it going to take to fix a Cybertruck? I mean, can you see your local car repair guy? Oh my goodness, this is stainless steel. All these little things that I use to pop dents and all this stuff. What do I do now? Yeah.
I mean, the pictures I saw didn't even look like there were too many dents, to be honest with you,
Well,
with the Cybertruck. But
yeah,
maybe,
one,
I was
yeah,
looking at
one
the
doesn't
wrong angle.
know. One doesn't know, but you think it's cheap to fix a Lightning? You think it's cheap to fix a Hummer?
Oh, another
Whatever.
EV maker, Fisker, is making some news, abandoning direct-to-consumer sales in the U.S. in favor of the traditional dealerships. I guess they had tried to follow the Tesla model, but
Yeah, I guess they had trouble though. This is one fix. The question is that their only problem? Was that even their big problem? What's their stock prices these days? You kidding me? I mean, it amazes me that getting back to the Tesla recall to fix autopilot and to go and put more conditions and make sure people don't misbehave using it. One should go out and really collect some hard data as to what the misbehaviors look like, who misbehave using Teslas, and what is their distribution through the Tesla ownership market. Are they just a random sample, or are they some goofy little subset out here of people that who knows what? And this is all about misbehavior. And it just surprises me. I don't know. It would seem to me that the general consumer of a car, I know when I'm driving my car, I'm scared to death. And yeah, sometimes I flip out. Elizabeth is trying to get me to not do that as often. I shouldn't do that as often. But now to have NHTSA go in there and say, hey, be tougher on your customers. This helps Tesla. Nobody selling anything is out there saying, hey, Fred, I'm selling this to you, but as a consumer, I don't respect you. You're my customer. I hold you at the highest level of respect. I don't think you're a goofball that's going to misbehave with this stuff. I don't want to treat you like a child, put you in a corner, put a dunce cap on you, ask you to go home and get a note from your mother. And so now, to me, this is a great thing that Tesla's been able to do is come in with NHTSA and say, okay, NHTSA, you can't get Congress to let you really put people under control here. We're going to work with you. You tell us to do this, we'll do it. We'll say, hey, we'll point to you. You made me do it. And you should go out there and say, yeah, I made you do it. And we're both happy about this. Tesla's happy because its customers that they didn't have to bemoan and demean. They have put conditions on them to behave. I mean, I hope NHTSA goes out there and says, hey, you got to put speed governors on this thing. Tesla, you're smart enough. You can do the over-the-air update. If somebody's not at Watkins Glen, they don't get to go more than 14 miles over the limit.
it's instead of giving the driver the option, which they have now, to,
Yeah, well,
you can
if I
tell
give
it,
you the option,
right.
I assume that you're only going to do that when that is life-threatening to you. You are between such a rock and a hard place. This is the only way that you can bail your butt out. And maybe NHTSA should get into an agreement with Tesla. Yeah, we're going to let you have this is your get out of jail free card. You get one of these things that we're going to leave it up to you as to when you want to exercise it. But after you exercise that one, you need a note from your mother or whatever it is, other demeaning thing to get another one. And you have to explain yourself that you use this, that, yeah, my goodness, had to do it. Not that I was out there, hey, joyride, what do you do? Boy, if Tesla and NHTSA could get in an agreement in that, everybody's better off. You have Tesla has the respect and shows respect to its customers. NHTSA shows respect to the driving public. But if you wander too far, boom. You get too close to that fire, it's hot. You learn. Anyway, I think it's great.
Progress. It really is.
I think so. I mean, nobody agrees with me, but I'm used to that, Fred.
Finally, Alan, a survey from California-based Ghost Autonomy shows consumers prefer self-driving tech in their cars, not robo-taxis. They say 65% of the 1,200 people surveyed said they would want autonomous driving in their car in the next 10 years if the technology was proven to be safe. The numbers apparently were much higher for Tesla drivers.
If I do a survey today, right now, of Pittsburgh Steelers fans, who do you like better, the Steelers or the Ravens? Guess what they're going to say? Who? Everybody likes this, but the Steelers better. If I do that same survey and go to Ravens fans, guess what they're going to say? You're full of it. What have these folks done? They've done a survey to people who drive themselves, who have the wherewithal to drive themselves. What are they going to say? I'd like you to improve when I drive myself. Because guess what? I'm already a Steeler fan. I'm that guy. I'm that guy. Did they interview anybody who gets a ride? Who has to get a ride? I mean, this is the worst of surveys. It is totally biased. I shouldn't say that because I haven't looked at the survey and they might have. I don't. Cut it out here, folks. The survey's loaded from the beginning. Nobody's going to pay attention to that thing. Except, hey, if you ask Steeler fans, we love the Steelers. And especially with Mason Rudolph. Who would have thought?
Just terrific. Well, Alan, we want to remind everyone again that the real case for driverless mobility coming soon. I just saw the full book jacket. Wow.
We saw full book jacket is out. It's about we've gone through all the latest proof. We sent you at least some chapters, right? And Fred,
absolutely,
you're getting we're going to do an audio book, right? By you.
We are.
We are. We're doing it, right? We're doing it. So for those of you that can't read like me, we can sit there and listen.
Terrific. So keep an eye out for that coming soon, and we will certainly be letting you know. You can find us at smartdrivingcar.com, also on Spotify, TuneIn, Google, Amazon, Apple, wherever you turn to for podcasts. You can find my tech reports at techstination.com. I'm Fred Fishkin along with Alain Kornhauser. Thank you for listening or watching. Again, we'll say it. Happy New Year.
And stay safe. And this is going to be a good year. I think people are going to finally do this for the right reasons. And the right reasons is that, at least for the driverless piece, is to more affordably give higher quality rides to people who need rides.